Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. This is the Roaming Prepper and I'm your host Pete, and today we're going to just do our weekly situation update, or what I call the Saturday Sitrep. What it is for those of you who are new, it's a compilation of government, corporate, and media releases that have basically been compiled by a few of the sources I deal with in my job. They are public release, so nothing scary, but we're going to go through this week's updates, and it's kind of a mixed bag this week. It's kind of interesting. So I'll be right back, and let's talk about what's going on in the world this week right after this. All right, welcome back everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. I typically will premiere my Saturday sit reps, but in the event I don't, feel free to put any questions or comments in the comment section below the video on YouTube. And away we go. So we're gonna start once again. I'm kind of going alphabetical order around the world. So we're gonna start in Africa. Right now, the nation of Burundi is, Burundi is adjacent to the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are going to be deploying troops to the DRC as part of a recent decision by the African community, right? Basically the alliance of the African nations for a joint mission against the rebels there. The rebels have been attacking not just people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but they're attacking expats from other places, and they're also attacking other countries for resources. And they're going to be a combination of Burundian, Congolese, and a few other nations are sending troops there. I think UN may also be sending troops, kind of to get that under control, because they're very, very disruptive. They're causing a lot of loss of life. And, they're trying to get a handle on this crime thing, okay? This crime we've seen, and Africa, especially the Congo, has always struggled since the colonial days after the Belgians left. But this is, they've been struggling a lot more with the Rona and the economic issues and all that stuff. While we're on Africa, Nigeria's inflation hits a 17-year high as food prices soar. Authorities say the nation's inflation rate jumped 20% in July. Now remember, typically they'll compare inflation year on year. So if we're August now, it would be August last year to August this year. The US is reporting 9% inflation. Canada is like 11-ish, and you got the currency changes there, but they're reporting 20. So as bad as you may think it is if you're in Europe or the US or Canada, if you double what we're experiencing, that's what they're seeing there. And right now they're starting to struggle. They're trying to, the government's trying to be proactive. I give them credit. They're trying to reroute funds for food and infrastructure, but they're struggling. They're not a rich nation. They're struggling with this situation. Zimbabwe had a measles outbreak that affected 157 children. Now the German measles are typically what they refer to when we talk about measles. The German measles, unlike the Rona, is a very stable virus, right? It mutates once a century, if that. So the measles vaccine, which is based on an actual measles virus that they either kill or weaken and inject you with, has actually been very, very successful, and it's been around for half a century, right? So it's very established medicine. But they're saying this wasn't a case of a lack of meds or a lack of treatment, but they blame it on a sect or a cult of some type that somehow created this outbreak. So the Zimbabwe thinks they've got it kind of under control in that area, but the death toll nearly doubled in a week. So it was pretty bad between the lack of meds and the lack of medical care. People were just, by the time a doctor got to see these folks, they were dropping. So Africa having some issues still in the African nations, moving to East Asia and the Pacific. So China and Pakistan, and I'm going to make a whole nother video on this one. Beijing will be sending troops to Pakistan to protect its local economic interests. That includes bases in Afghanistan. Think about that for a second. Bases in Afghanistan. We cleared out of that country and left all this equipment and all those bases pre-made for China to go there. I don't even have words for that. I'm going to put it in the other video, so while I'm cursing, if they block that video, it doesn't affect all my other videos. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one there. We'll put a pin in that one. But this is part of their ambitious BRI project, which is the Belt and Road Initiative. Basically, China wants to create the Silk Road from the ancient days all over again in a modern form. Kind of like, think the Orient Express, which went from Europe to China, but it's going the other way now. And what they're doing, and again, I'll go into a whole nother thing, but they're actually screwing the countries that they claim they're helping, and that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, Indonesia includes Bali as a priority for foot and mouth vaccinations. They are seeing an outbreak in that country. Again, foot and mouth has been around for a while. The vaccines have been around for a while. So they've been established, they're proven, but they don't have the infrastructure. So they're struggling with that. So again, if you're traveling to any of these countries, be mindful of this kind of stuff. And here's another one. So in Asia Pacific regarding North Korea, the leader of the state of Donetsk, which is basically what Russia has tried to carve out of Ukraine, was still fighting over, has called for beneficial ties with North Korea. North Korea, in response, has offered 100,000 volunteers to go help Russia with its war in Ukraine. That could be some game-changing stuff. Maybe they'll accept, maybe they won't, but the bottom line is now we've got North Korea getting involved in a Eastern European dispute with China, now moving into the Middle East in a military way, not just an economic way. I don't know where this is going, but I don't like it. You have a lot of superpowers now shuffling around, all in the same little areas, and I personally think they're going to create a big turd for everybody. But I digress. Anyway, moving on from that, I've got all sorts of opinions this week. Europe. So scientists are warning about the Mediterranean heating up. They've had extreme heat. What we got in the States and Canada last month, they're getting now. This is from Omaha.com. And just to go back, the North Korean story was from The Hill. Indonesia was from Reuters, as was the Nigerian story was from Voice of America. Sorry, I'm a little bit off my game today. I didn't give due credit to the sources. Anyway, going back to the Mediterranean from Omaha.com, climate scientists are warning of dire consequences because the Mediterranean is getting overheated and allegedly is killing sea life. But on the flip side, they're also noticing that some of the coral reefs in Australia are actually thriving more because it's warmer. And I think that's what I read. I don't know if it's the coral reef or the fisheries. So the warming up of the earth is actually, this climate shuffling and changing actually hurts one area, but it helps another. So it's kind of a zero sum in that respect, at least in respect to this. So right now, gas flowed eastbound through the Yamal Europe pipeline to Poland and Germany. It looks like they're kind of stabilizing the natural gas situation. Nord Stream is also online again, and it seems stable. Right now, Russia has agreed not to do nasty things, although they have cut the overall supply. They are thus far being cooperative about maintaining the agreements that had been made previously. While we're talking about playing nicely, so there's good news also. Israel and Turkey have been at odds for about 12 years after the Mavi Marmara flotilla incident. Basically, it was some little skirmish they got into about 12 years ago. They finally have signed a memo of understanding, if you will, like some kind of MOU, where they're announcing normalization of trade, and they're going to return the ambassadors and the political contacts, and they're going to try and continue to do business the way they used to do back in the day. So hopefully that will kind of settle down that part of the world a little bit, because we need some good news too. But yeah, it's been interesting. So another good piece of good news. So Syria has confirmed that shipments of wheat and grain of various types from Ukraine have indeed made it past the Russian blockade with Russia's blessing, have arrived in Syria, and now the food is being distributed through the various channels in the Middle East to the nations that need it. That's going to give some food relief to the people in that part of the Middle East into North Africa, which is a good thing, because people who can get their hands on food tend to calm down a little bit, and that's always a positive sign. So again, we got a few tidbits of good news and some weird news thrown in there. Oh, this is a repeat of the other one, the International Business Times, again reiterating about the Belt Road Initiative with China and Afghanistan. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. Also, let's see. So Brazil is kicking off their presidential campaign this year, and they've had to call out the army already, because gangs of different types and political groups are now having fights in the street. So they're concerned about more political violence and threats to democracy. I love that phrase, threats to democracy. You disagree with us, you're a threat to democracy. Now, in that country, it may be a legitimate threat to democracy. I don't know. Also, Mexico reports a Cuban doctor was shot to death in a Mexico hospital. It did say that the doctor was doing volunteer work in a very bad neighborhood with a lot of cartel violence, and they suspect that the cartels were fighting with each other and targeted the health center, not realizing that they weren't involved in anything. They basically were the wrong target, which is unfortunate. That part of the country desperately needs the medical help. Also in Mexico, they finally found the missing independent journalist found dead in northern Mexico. Apparently was bludgeoned to death. Wow, that's cheerful. So Mexico, maybe not a place to visit at the moment. Tijuana is still on fire, and they've sent the Mexican Special Marines, basically their MARSOC, into Tijuana because two cartels have gotten into such a bad brawl that they're blowing up cars with RPGs in the street. I don't know what the hell's going on, but so the police and militia started fighting with the cartels, and then the army showed up, so now, or the Marines, so now they've got basically this four-way conflict going on. So all sorts of exciting stuff there. That just removed any desire for me to visit that part of Mexico, which is sad. Mexico is actually a very beautiful country with awesome people, but I don't want to get shot at by cartels. That's just what it is. So folks, a lot of interesting news this week. Again, things boiling. I don't know if boilings or they're very tumultuous. I guess that's a better word. There's stuff going on everywhere that's absolutely weird. This week was very interesting mix of good news and bad news. Right now, they're still arguing here in the States about the search on Donald Trump's property. Some people say it's not justified. And then the FBI raided a Democrat for election fraud of some type. And so his ass is in jail over in California. I don't know what to make of it. I think at this point, nobody knows what the hell is going on. I used the analogy about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, that it almost feels like they were pushing a shopping cart full of stuff and they have lost control of the shopping cart, or they will soon lose back then, and the cart's down now, zooming down the parking lot, and people are trying to chase it to stop it from spilling over. I think that's what we're witnessing right now. I think we're just seeing a lot of countries absolutely in a tizzy with each other. They don't know what to do. I will make a separate video on the Belt Road Initiative because I'm not a fan. I think that's going to cause a problem, and it will cause bankruptcies. And considering China's economy is based 30% on their own real estate development, which we all know at this point is crap, and they got empty buildings. I don't know. If they can't keep their own economy afloat, how are they going to loan money to these other people? I don't know. I've got all sorts of thoughts. We're so busy watching Eastern Europe, we need to pay attention to the dragon and not the bear. The bear is being dealt with in its own way, because I think the dragon's going to be a major problem, and they're going after small countries that, unlike Ukraine, can't fight for themselves. So, folks, that's it. A bit of a mixed bag this week. Really weird. In any case, keep an eye out on some of the videos. I'm going to dig more into detail, especially this Chinese military base thing in Afghanistan and the Belt Road Initiative. That I'm not a fan of. And we'll see where that goes. It'll be interesting how this all plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to prep. Don't forget to get what you need. Don't freak out. Stay on budget. Be informed. And keep in mind how this stuff can affect you. Now, this was kind of a mixed bag this week. Now, China trying to leverage other countries. Maybe they realize the US and Europe are going to shut the taps off on them. So they're trying to find a new market, and preferably a market that's indentured, it's bound to them. Who knows? I'm speculating right now. Interesting stuff going on in the world. So ladies and gentlemen, stay informed. It'll help you make the best decision possible in your situation. I don't know everything. None of us really do. All I can do is share what I'm hearing, share what I know, and you guys make the best call for you. In any case, God bless, Godspeed. You guys be safe wherever you may be. Don't forget, kids are in school again. Do not drive like an asshole. That's not nice. You're going to hit a kid and you're going to go to jail. And if you do hit a kid, well, that's your own fault. So in any case, don't hit kids, and or don't hit dogs either. Guys, be safe, and I will see you on the next video. Until next time, take care of yourselves.